All right, so now that we've been able to implement a very simple authentication feature for our application, we can be able to sign up, log in, and log out of our application. So the next thing we're going to do is to implement our password reset feature that will allow our users to reset their passwords just in case they have forgotten them. So to do that, let's go ahead and use Django's default authentication views that are going to allow us to be able to do this. So let me go ahead and explain this very simply. So I have a very simple demonstration right here, and this is going to be demonstrating the different views that Django provides that will help us to reset our password. Now the first one is going to be our password reset view. And what this does is to ask a user for a password that's associated with an email for which they forgot the password. When they provide this password, what is done is an email will be sent to their email address, and when we provide that email address, we are going to give them a link that will allow them to reset their password. Now in here we can see we're going to have a password reset done view, and what this is going to do is to show us a success message in case an email has been sent to that user. Now when they provide them a link, that link will be the one that's going to be our password request confirm, and when that link is what a user has visited, they'll be able to have a form where they'll provide their new passwords. On submitting that form, they'll be able to redirect to a page that will show them that they have successfully updated their password. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go within our urls.py, and that's going to be within our accounts app. And now we have been writing our own views, but I'm going to be writing views based on Django's default authentication views. So I'll begin by importing those views. Then I'm going to begin by saying from Django contrib dot auth. In this case, we are going to import our views, and we shall import these views as, sorry for this, so in this case I'm going to say that we're going to call them our auth views. And once I've done that, then we're going to go ahead and create routes for each of the views that we need to provide to reset our passwords. Now the first one is going to be the one for our password reset, so I'm going to call this link or this URL password underscore reset, and this is going to be accessing the password reset view. So shall just say auth views dot, in this case shall say our password reset view, and we shall call that dot as view, so that we actually call this as a view because it's a class-based view, but we need to convert it to a view function. So in here I'll call the dot as view method, and within here we also need to specify the template name. Now by default these views have templates that are associated with them, and these are the ones that are found within the registration folder. So in case we want to set up our own custom templates, we can just go within the dot as view method and then can provide the different attributes such as the template name. So in this case I'm just going to come and say template name, and I'll specify this to be our account slash, we shall call this our password reset .html. Now once we have this, then we're also going to provide a name that's going to uniquely identify this specific URL in our application, so that we can actually do reverses to access that exact URL. So in this case I'll just come and say that our name is going to be our password reset. So this is going to be the unique name for that specific URL. Now once we are done with that, we expect that we are going to send an email to the user once they have provided their email address. But before we do that, let me go ahead and provide or create this specific HTML template. So I'm going to head over to our templates, and within our accounts I'm going to create a new file which I'm going to call our password reset.html. So once I have that, then inside here, since this is a custom template, we shall expect to include or extend our base.html layout, and then we shall also have a block tags where our content for that page is going to be. So I'll call this block content. And once we are done with that, then the next thing is going to be to render the form where the user is actually going to provide this specific email address. So in here, we can create a simple h1 and we shall say set your password. And once we have that, then in here we can basically provide a paragraph, and in this paragraph we can maybe provide a message that the user will be able to use to reset their password. So in here we can say provide email address associated with your account. And once they provide this, then they are supposed to basically fill in the form. So shall create a form, and this form is going to have a method of post. Now when you have this form, then what we can do is to go ahead and first of all provide the CSRF token so that they can securely send it to the server. So we're going to begin by providing the token. Now I'm using the Django extension, can't recommend it enough. So in here I'm going to go ahead and provide the form. So I can just do var and then I'll have those. Then in here I can just go ahead and provide form.asp, and then we can go ahead and provide our input for submitting this. So our input is going to be of type submit, and we shall have a value of reset password. So what we expect is this form is going to be rendered on our page, but we need a way for users to be able to access this. So since we've created our URL and we've called it password reset, now head over to the login password, login.html, and then I'll provide them an option for if they forgot their password. Now I'll just come here and then I'll create a small tag. So in here I'm going to provide a simple paragraph, and in this case I'll say we shall have a link, and then this link is going to have a URL, and this URL is the one that's going to be for our password reset. Now in here I'm just going to come and say forgot password, and this is what they'll be able to visit just in case they have forgotten their password. Now let's go back to our web page and be able to see this. So when you head over to our Chrome, right here, when you go to our login, we'll be able to see the link for forgot our password. When you click that, then we shall redirect to this page that's telling us that the template is not found. So the template is account/password reset. I forgot and called it /account. So when I go to our URLs, I'm going to change this to /account/password reset.html, and when I refresh, we're now going to see that our form is going to be displayed. Now the reason that's why this form is being displayed is that this form is part of the view that's created for us by Django. So when we try to provide an email and submit, in this case we're not going to see our password reset confirm, and this is because this is the URL that's going to provide for us the form, but then this link has to be generated within our URL. So let's go ahead and provide that. So once we are done with this, we also need another URL for the password reset done. Now the password reset is the one that's going to be providing for us that screen to show us that they have successfully sent an email that's going to allow us to reset our password. So I'm going to copy this and then paste it just down here. So I'll change this, so change this to password reset done, and then I'll also change this view to password reset done view. So I'll try to access that with password reset done, and then I'll also change this template to be password reset done .html. So I'll do the same thing for our password reset confirm. However, the password request confirm is different because it takes in the UID and then the token. So the UID in this case is just going to be the ID of the user for which you're trying to change the password, but this will be turned into a UUID, and then the token that's going to distinguish this request, and basically provide for us the form that we shall use to update the user's password. So this is actually the link that will be sent to, the link that we're going to write is the one that shall be sent to the user, and then will allow them to access the form for changing their password. Now I'm going to change this URL, and instead I'll call it reset, and then in here we shall have our UID B64, and then we shall also have our token. Now when you have this, then we also need to change this view. So this view is going to be our password reset confirm view, and in here we are going to actually have this as our password reset confirm.html. Now I'm going to change these names, so this will be our password reset done, and this will also be our password reset confirm. So once we have this, then the next thing we're going to do is to also provide one for a successful password reset. Now that's going to be our password reset complete. So to do that, I'll just come and say password reset, and this will be complete. So this is going to be the success page after us being able to reset our password. I'm just going to come here, and what I'll do is provide the view. So this is going to be our password reset complete. So just going to come and say password reset complete. And once this is done, then we're also going to provide the template name as password reset complete. And now we can also go ahead and change this name to password reset complete. So once we've done this, then the next thing is going to be for us to create these templates. At this point, we only have our password reset.html. So I'm going to go ahead and provide a new file. I'm going to call this file our password reset, and this will be done.html. Now, since this is the template that will be rendered in case the email has been sent, we are going to edit it, beginning with extending our layout. So I'll say extends-base.html, and then I'm going to go ahead and provide our block. So this will be block content and end block content. And once this is done, then the next thing is going to be to provide the text that's going to be within this template. So I'm just going to come and create some paragraph, and this is going to be the one to tell the user that an email has been sent to their mail. So I'll come and say an email has been sent with instructions to reset your password. So once we have this, then this is going to be just enough. So I'm just going to leave it at this. So when I save, now this is going to be our password reset done. Now another one we're going to work on is going to be our password reset confirm. Now this is going to be our password reset confirm.html, and what this is going to do is going to have the form that's going to allow the user to be able to reset their password. Now we shall begin by extending our layout. So I'm going to extend our base.html, and then I'll go ahead and change our block. So it's going to be block content and end block content. So once we have this, then in here I'm going to go ahead and basically provide an h1. So this h1 is going to be for reset your password or change your password. Let's just call it change password, and then I'm going to come here, and what I'll do is to provide a form that's going to be having a method of post, and in here we shall provide a CSRF token, and then the form itself. So the form that's going to contain two fields, the one for add new password and then confirming the new password. So once I have this, then we're also going to have an input of type submit, and in here we shall have the value. So this value is going to be one for change password. So when I go ahead and save, this will be created. And now when you go to our URLs, the last one is going to be our password reset complete. So let me also put it there. It's going to be our password reset and then complete .html. So once we have this, then the next thing is going to be to put in the text that we're going to do, that we're going to show that when the user has successfully changed their password. So I'll just basically copy what we have here and then paste it in our complete. So going to be that. However, here we shall basically provide the text. So the text is going to be you have successfully changed, or let's say you have successfully reset your password, and then we shall also provide a link, and this is going to be a URL to our login page. So in here we can say URL to our login page, and then we can maybe say they can sign in. So we can say sign in, or you can log in. So here we're going to say you can log in. All right, now that we're done with this, another thing that's important is going to be for us to set up the template for our email that will be sent. So for us to be able to do this, I'm going to create another file, and I'm going to call this password. In this case, we shall say password reset, and this will be our password reset email.html. So in here is where we're going to actually have our password reset email, and in here we are going to write our email. We can choose to write it as HTML, and we can also add some styling. However, we're going to keep it simple in this video, so I'm just going to write a simple paragraph, and this paragraph is going to have and this, actually we shall just say follow this link. So here we shall just come and say follow this link to reset your password, and in this case we are going to provide the link that is going to help us to reset our password. So the link is going to be the one, so we can actually create an anchor tag, and then within this anchor tag we can provide our URL. So the URL is going to be the so we actually provided four different variables within the context of this view. So the first one is going to be the protocol for this request. So we're going to have the protocol, and then we are going to have the host. So in this case we are actually going to have the host, which is going to be the URL from which we have sent this link, or that domain. So in this case we're going to have our domain, and once you have this domain, now we are going to have the URL, or we're going to have the URL. Now this URL is what we're going to get from our URL tag, and in here we are going to have the URL for our password request confirm. Now keep in mind that this has parameters that we need to pass in here. So when I go within our URLs, I'm going to copy the name for our password reset confirm URL, and then I'll provide it in here. Now we're going to have things such as the UUID. In this case we shall say that the UID B64 is going to be the UID that the view will provide for us within its context. Now another thing we're going to do is to go ahead and also provide our token. So in this case we shall say that our token is going to be equal to our token. So once we have this, then in here we can be able to maybe say something like click here, or let's say reset your password. So in here we can say reset password, So let me make this a little bit big so that you guys can see. So this is going to be reset password, and then we can also be able to provide this URL just as a plain text so that we can be able to get it within our terminal. So don't care about my template right now, but please take care of the way I'm building this template, because we are going to be accessing this uh, in the terminal just for development, but shall be able to change these settings when deploying this application. So the first thing we're going to do is to go ahead and set up our email settings, because we haven't yet set them up. So for now, we're going to be using our console backend for Django. That's going to allow us to test how emails are going to be sent. Now, as we deploy our application, we shall be able to change this and be able to send to an SMTP server. So let's go ahead and do that. So I head over to our settings. Sorry for this. So I'm going to head over to our settings, and this is going to be within our settings. And within our settings, I'm going to add some settings that are going to be, so I'll call this our email settings. And in here, we are actually going to go ahead and provide this setting. So this is going to be the one for our email backend. I'm going to use Django's inbuilt console backend to allow us to send our emails, and these emails will be logged within our terminal. And this is just for testing purposes. So in this case, I'll just come here and say that we're going to have our Django.contrib. Actually, it's not going to be Django.contrib, it will be Django.core.mail. And in this case, we shall provide backends, and we shall access our console module, and within here we shall access our email backend. So once we've done that, now we're going to go ahead and test this. So we have been able to set up our URLs, and then we attach them to different templates. Now once we've set up these templates, we are now ready to go. So let's try testing this out. So when you go to our web page right here, when you try to refresh, so I was testing a little bit, but right now if we try to create or reset a password for a certain user who doesn't exist within our whose account has a password we've forgotten, when you try to reset the password, we're going to be told that an email has been sent with instructions to reset that password. Now when you go back to our terminal, you're going to see that we're going to actually have a certain message being shown to us, and here we shall see something like receiving this email because you requested a password request at that website, which is localhost 8000 in our case, but this is supposed to be the domain for that specific URL. So this is going to actually be our URL. So I'm going to copy this, and when I copy this link, I can actually choose to follow it. And when you follow this link, we are now going to be shown a password change form, and in here we can provide a new password. So let's provide it. So I'm just going to come and say we're going to provide a password, and then confirm our password. And once we provided this, we can go ahead and change it. So now we shall be redirected to our new page, which is the one that's telling us that we've successfully reset our password. We can now log in. So when you click login, I'm going to try to log in with our new password. So let me provide our name and then provide our password. And in this case, when you log in, we can be able to log in into our application. So now we can be able to reset our password.